which weight class he wants. Is most easily fight for me in the UFC.
You think you versus Alex is the easiest fight for you in the UFC?
Yeah, in my career, brother.
Khamzat Chimaev. 7.
Middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev has called you out.
Obrigado pelos parabéns. Mas eu quero uma super luta, igual eu falei, pô, quero lutar nos pesos pesados. Então, só agradeço só pelo...
A brutal clash looms on the horizon between two of UFC's most savage and ferocious fighters, the Wolf Khamzat Chimaev and the Poatan Alex Pereira. Stay tuned for the thrilling details in this episode. Just a few years ago, a young Khamzat Chimaev was a refugee, fleeing from Chechnya to Sweden to escape war and seek a better life. Alex Pereira, a young Brazilian, was battling alcoholism and working a modest job repairing car tires. Today, the tables have turned dramatically, and their circumstances have improved immensely. Khamzat Chimaev is now the middleweight champion and a millionaire. Alex Pereira is the light heavyweight champion and also a millionaire. These are two fighters who have succeeded on a personal, athletic, and financial level. They are more than just ordinary fighters. They are an inspiration to us all, commanding our utmost respect. Alex Pereira's recent terrifying performance and his unexpected victory over Magomed Ankalaev left everyone stunned. Who would have predicted that Pereira would defeat a fighter of Ankalaev's caliber, who had previously beaten him and held the title with a technical knockout in just 1 minute and 20 seconds. It was truly horrifying. After the fight, the big question was, who is Pereira's next opponent? As the champion, he has the right to choose his own future. Journalists and media members present immediately brought up Khamzat Chimaev's name, as the Chechen has consistently challenged him. What do you think Pereira's answer was? He said, "I'm not focusing on Khamzat right now. My focus is on fighting at the White House event next year, which is a massive event."
Champion Khamzat Chimaev has called you out.
Obrigado pelos parabéns. Mas eu quero uma super luta, igual eu falei, pô, quero lutar nos pesos pesados. Então, só agradeço só pelo...
He added that he wants to fight in the heavyweight division, specifically against the heavyweight champion Jon Jones. So far, so good. But as followers of the fight game, we know that Jon Jones has been away for a long time. He doesn't seem to have the same passion for fighting anymore. Furthermore, his brother recently passed away, so Jones is not in a good state to fight and has not made any official statements confirming he will fight at the White House event. There were only hints on his former Twitter account. So what makes the Brazilian, who claims not to be afraid of Khamzat, tell the press he's not interested in him right now? The reason is crystal clear. It's a mind game that fighters often play. Pereira is smart. He doesn't want to let Khamzat ride on his coattails. I'm the champion now. I've defeated a fighter of Ankalaev's caliber, and the whole world is proud of me. Why would I give Khamzat the spotlight by mentioning his name? No, I'll push him aside for now and keep the focus on myself. This is a tactic champions use time and time again. What do you think Khamzat Chimaev's response was to this? He immediately challenged him after the fight, but when he heard Pereira's statement about wanting to fight at heavyweight, he said, "No problem, I'll move up to heavyweight and we'll fight there." A very clever response. Beyond the fighters themselves, Khamzat and Pereira, what makes this fight so likely to happen is that Dana White and the UFC are looking for a mega fight, a huge showdown between two champions, two of the organization's biggest stars who are close in weight. Therefore, Dana White will push for this massive fight to happen as long as both fighters are ready, in their prime, and scheduled to fight next year. So why not have them fight each other for 2 titles? This would guarantee a massive viewership and colossal revenue. To give you a better picture, Khamzat Chimaev, the middleweight champion, weighs 84 kilograms. Alex Pereira, the light heavyweight champion, weighs 93 kilograms. Khamzat has previously stated his desire to become a champion in another weight class and make history, even mentioning becoming a 3-division champion. He couldn't drop down to welterweight, where Islam Makhachev currently reigns. For obvious reasons, they share a similar fan base, culture, and religion. Khamzat recently refused this, and Islam Makhachev had also rejected the idea when he first heard about the possibility of this matchup. Thus, we can't expect a fight between Khamzat and Islam. This leaves Pereira as the only option. What was preventing Khamzat from moving up to light heavyweight was the presence of Magomed Ankalaev, who is in a similar situation to Islam Islam Makhachev. He couldn't fight him. But with Pereira's victory over Ankalaev, this is now possible. There's another important factor. Why does Khamzat Chimaev want to fight in a heavier weight class rather than moving down, even if Islam Makhachev wasn't the champion? Because his doctor has advised him against it. It's healthier for Khamzat to move up in weight, not down. Since his battle with COVID-19, his body has been significantly affected and his doctor warned him against extreme weight cuts. The middleweight division became his designated weight class after he had previously fought at welterweight upon entering the UFC. As we know, Khamzat is a large and tall fighter, standing at 188 centimeters with a massive physique. In this situation, Pereira has no choice but to accept. Looking at it from a sporting and marketing perspective, this is a win-win situation for both fighters, the organization, and the fans. Pereira just needs to stay in his weight class. Frankly, if he avoids Khamzat Chimaev, who is the lighter fighter wanting to move up, it will be seen as ducking a challenge. The fighter moving up is the one taking the risk, so Khamzat would be seen as the more courageous one, and Pereira would be accused of running. The reactions from fans, even internationally, confirm this. Everyone is urging the Brazilian to accept the fight now, as the timing is perfect. For those wondering about the weight classes, let me clarify. As mentioned, Chimaev fights at 84 kilograms and Pereira at 93 kilograms. The weight a fighter competes at is not their natural, everyday weight. Each person has their own ideal weight class, determined under the supervision of a doctor and a coach. They choose the weight class you can safely cut down to without health complications. The process of cutting weight involves severe water dehydration, causing you to lose a significant amount of water from your body and depleting the glycogen in your muscles. Many might wonder, isn't the bigger, heavier fighter always the one who will win? Isn't the heavyweight boxer the strongest? In the world of combat sports, that's not always the case. A larger fighter who tries to cut down to a lower weight class will likely not be able to perform, as the weight cutting process is incredibly taxing and they won't be healthy on fight night. Fighters are given 1 day to rehydrate after the weigh-in. They start drinking immediately and can gain back up to 12 kilograms, as was the case with Pereira, who weighed 93 kilograms at the weigh-in and fought at 105 kilograms or more. The more weight you cut, the less likely you are to perform well on fight night because your body is severely affected, which is undesirable. Therefore, a fighter who finds a comfortable weight class will stay there. If they decide to move up, it's generally an easier process. That's why Khamzat Chimaev can move up to fight Pereira without any issues. In fact, it's advantageous for him. There's also the height difference to consider. Pereira is 193 centimeters tall, making him 5 centimeters taller. However, as I've mentioned before, Khamzat thrives against taller opponents. For him, it makes wrestling and taking them down much easier. We saw how he toyed with Kevin Holland. Furthermore, Chimaev is not Ankalaev. His wrestling is on a completely different level. Khamzat is an exceptional wrestler, a true anomaly in the world of grappling. How can a fighter dominate one of the UFC's most physically gifted athletes, known for his incredible cardio and stamina, DDP? No one could outlast DDP in a war of attrition, yet Khamzat did it in a moment that left us all speechless. Now, let's get to the most important point, a comparison between Khamzat and Pereira and how this fight might play out. It's clear that Khamzat has the advantage in wrestling. Pereira, on the other hand, excels in striking, and frankly, Pereira's punches are devastating. He has rocks for hands, steel in his fists. When Pereira hits you, you're going to sleep. This isn't just a recent development, it's been true since the beginning of his fighting career. So, in terms of wrestling, Pereira can't handle Khamzat's grappling. But in the striking department, if one of Pereira's punches lands on Khamzat, he won't be getting up. Even though we've seen Khamzat's incredible durability and ability to take a punch, the Brazilian is a different beast entirely. His punches have put many durable fighters to sleep. We saw how Ankalaev was affected and dropped by that shot. On top of that, the heavier a fighter is, the more power and solidity they have in their punches. That's why we see more knockouts in the heavier weight classes compared to the lighter ones. One last important thing to add about this fight, it is a monumental event. As I said, they are the two biggest stars in the organization. Khamzat Chimaev is the first Muslim fighter and champion to be cheered by the West. When Khamzat went to fight DDP in the United States, for the first time ever, the American crowd was cheering for a fighter with a beard and a trimmed mustache. Who would have imagined that? The American fans were all behind Khamzat, surely because of his magnetic personality that attracts fans from all over the world. As for Pereira, he shuts down streets when he enters a place. He's incredibly famous. That's why this fight is in the best interest of the organization. The bottom line is that it's difficult for the Brazilian champion, Alex Pereira, to move up to heavyweight as long as Jon Jones isn't there. He has nothing to gain if there's no Jon Jones. Jones is a legend, the greatest fighter in UFC history, the most well-rounded fighter ever standing, wrestling on the ground. Therefore, Pereira's most logical and biggest option right now is Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat also has a strong desire to face Pereira. Yes, I agree with some that Tom Aspinall is a fantastic fighter, but he doesn't have the same star power as Khamzat and Pereira. A fight against him wouldn't benefit Pereira. On the contrary, it would be a risky gamble with little reward. In addition, what's coming up is UFC White House, a massive UFC event that the whole world will be watching. Therefore, the best possible fight to make is Khamzat Chimaev versus Alex Pereira. Imagine that. Or don't imagine it, because it's very likely to happen with a probability of over 80%. Two different styles, wrestling versus striking. The pinnacle of mixed martial arts. This is what the sport is all about, the clash of different fighting styles. It's a showdown between a hungry wolf ready to devour its prey and a free-flying eagle aiming to soar to the top. One final note, the UFC has been surprisingly quiet about the buzz surrounding a potential Khamzat versus Pereira fight. Just search on YouTube or any social media platform for Khamzat or Pereira's comments on Khamzat, and you'll see the overwhelming fan reaction with likes and comments. A large number of them are saying that Khamzat will brutally stop Pereira, but either way, it's a highly anticipated and exciting fight. I'll leave the comments to you to engage with. I want to see your opinions. Who are you picking, Khamzat Chimaev or Alex Pereira? Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell to stay updated, and like and comment on this video to help it reach more fight fans. This was Amin. Until next time.